The Chief Justice of Uganda, Justice Bert Katurebe, has commended the life and service of the late Joan Namazzi Kagezi while she served as an Assistant Director of Public Prosecution and Head of the International Criminal Division.
Time on earth, a young life cut short by an assassin, but a young life well lived. Successful mother, successful professional, successful prosecutor, successful person.
Said the rise in criminal and organized crime requires a resource priority of funding by the government and articulate security to the judiciary.
Governments must recognize that the law enforcement officers, judges, prosecutors, magistrates, investigators are on the front line in this fight. What has been said about protecting these law enforcement officers must be taken much more seriously today than ever before.
He also insisted that government must improve its funding to the fight against organized crime and terrorism.
This dedication should be to all law enforcement officers who have died in the line of duty fighting terrorism and crime. The state must provide for more resources towards the training and equipping of the organs involved in this fight. The organized crime syndicates and terrorists are often ahead of the law enforcement agencies. More investment in modern technology is a must if we are to cope. I think if we are going to continue in this fight, it cannot be with mere hands. We must have trained resources. We must have the money to buy the equipment, to invest in equipment, because these are organized people, organized criminals. They are ahead of us.
We must ensure that the police are equipped, they are properly trained, and they're properly facilitated to be able to raise to the occasion of the sophistication of the criminals that commit these crimes.
Joan Namazzi Kagezi, born 14th of July 1967 to Kagwa Serada and Mrs. Serada of Lutete village in Rakai district, was a Ugandan lawyer and prosecutor. At the time of her death, she was the Assistant Director of Public Prosecution and Head of the International Criminal Division in the Ministry of Justice.
The first memorial lecture of the late Joan Kagezi, and what lies in balance is the sheer low emotion of the reports of her death. Now we wait on whether the investigations will be concluded, and this entirely is our key message.
You see, justice delayed is justice denied. And so the people who see that they are affected by the death of Joan and they don't see culprits brought to book, it is extremely dismaying. So
the young life of Joan Kagezi, well lived on earth and inspirational, was cut short by an assassin on the evening of Monday, 30th of March 2015 at about 7:30 p.m. local time. A man pulled out again and shot her twice in the neck at a close range, jumped on the back of a waiting motorcycle and sped off. Investigations by the police into her murder remains a mystery.
Unfortunately, I cannot report on the progress of investigations. We don't have anything to write home about yet.
In a keynote address at the memorial lecture, the Director of National Public Prosecutions of South Africa, Sean Abrams, called upon Ugandans not to refrain from the universal cause of the fight against crime.
The performance of their duties must be done fairly, consistently, expeditiously, and with respect to the protection of human dignity and upholding human rights, thereby ensuring that processes in the administration of justice are fair. Prosecutors must execute their responsibilities impartially, avoiding political, social, religious, racial, cultural, sexual, or any other kind of discrimination. Prosecutors must protect the public interest by being objective and paying due regard to all information, favorable or unfavorable, in his or her case.
Joan Kagezi participated and presided over the prosecution of Ugandan-born Australian cardiologist Dr. Aggrey Kingi, the trial and conviction of former Arua Municipality MP Akiba Hussein Godi, conviction of the Kampala businessman Thomas Nkurunjira, also known as Tonku, prosecution of Thomas Koero, a warlord in the Lord's Resistance Army, and the ongoing prosecution of 13 individuals accused of participating in the July 2010 Kampala bomb attacks.
Arans Tabaruka, WBS Television.